What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of the Box Out Podcast. I am your host, Nate Mendez. Welcome to the show. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I did, except for the last part of the night. Last game of the night. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. I'm from Phoenix. Spent all day hanging out with family, opening presents, and then we end with this game. The Phoenix Suns took on the Denver Nuggets at 8:30 my time. That was the last game of this great. It wasn't great. Great NBA Christmas Day slate. Um, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all, to be honest with you. Despite whatever happened at the end of the game, this is easily the most exciting game of the night. Uh, I was very excited. I think a couple days ago, the injury report came out and said Devin Booker will be playing in this game. So I was so excited. Got to see him warm up. Got to see him start. He had a nice little shimmy move on Michael Porter Jr. Very excited to see what he could do for the Suns because we've been struggling without him. And he only played 4 minutes. Another hamstring injury again. So it doesn't look like we're going to see him anytime in the foreseeable future, which sucks for us Suns fans because we need another option scorer wise. Devin Booker has now kind of become a guy that has no help on his team when he's not there. Luka Doncic, like when he leaves his team sucks. Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray, when they leave their team, that team kind of sucks. And so we're a decent team, but without Devin Booker, we're not doing anything. So Devin Booker continues to prove why he is a superstar in this league, probably a top 15, maybe top 10 player. I mean, I would have to look at the guys, but I would say maybe in the top 10 player in this league. It sucks that he's injured. But, from this game, the Suns, they played shorthanded. We're still missing Cam Johnson. We're still missing Jay Crowder, who's never going to play for us again. So we're shorthanded. The Denver Nuggets are finally healthy. They finally got Jamal Murray back. Um, and I didn't think that was going to be an issue. Before the season started, I said the Denver Nuggets were not a great team. I said because people were hyping up, oh, they're going to be the number 1 seed in the West. They're going to be a number 3 seed in the West. I didn't really see it. I mean, besides maybe Jamal Murray's bubble performance, um, besides his leaked Instagram live video, I mean, there was really no dog I saw in Jamal Murray. There was something that I saw that made me think, oh, this guy is not going to let the Nuggets get swept by the 2021 Phoenix Suns, or this is not a team that's going to take them from a bottom feeder team to a team that's top in the West. I was wrong. I have to admit that. Um, he played a great game this game. Um, him and Nikola Jokic both played a great game. Talking about the Suns, Landry Shamet and Damian Lee shot 11 from 22 from three. So we were lights out. So we were hanging in right with them just because of those 3 pointers falling. Chris Paul had a great game as well. He missed a lot of free throws late in the stretch. I think he shot 50%, 5 out of 10 on free throws. So if he made those free throws, we wouldn't go to overtime. But talking about the other superstar on the other side of the ball, Nikola Jokic. Let's get that up here. There we go. 41 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists. That is the most points ever in a Christmas Day triple double. So he had an amazing performance out. Watching him play always is kind of weird. He looks like a toddler that got his first hoop from Christmas, and he's like, he doesn't really know what to do with the ball. He's fumbling with it, but somehow it goes in. Somehow it finds some guy. It looks Nikola Jokic makes the sport of basketball look so hard to play. He makes it look so difficult, but he's making amazing plays. I'm not gonna fault the guy for it. You know, it, if it gets the ball in the hoop, it gets the ball in the hoop. Even though it looks ugly, it looks super difficult. What you're doing, got the ball in the hoop. That's all that matters. So he had a day. Jamal Murray had a day. These teams are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Um, you know, Mikhail Bridges, stupid offensive foul, end of the game. After the Jamal Murray dunk, Jamal Murray dunks it. I'm like, okay, we have like 11 seconds left. Let's go get a shot. We couldn't get a shot off because Mikhail Bridges did a stupid offensive foul. He made up for it by blocking the shot on the other end, but still, we maybe not even. I maybe even be in a happier disposition if you didn't do an offensive foul. So, Mikhail, just be better. Um, I have your shirt, number 25. You're one of my favorite players, but you haven't been doing great as of late. So you need to step it up a little bit, maybe on offensive end, defensive end, but you have not just been a consistent guy that Phoenix Suns fans have seen in the past. Um, but going from me calling out players and whatnot, um, I want to talk about the dunk. Now, before this, Aaron Gordon had a great game. He had about 7 dunks that night, all off alley oops. I think he had one where he did it himself, but he had 28 points, 13 rebounds. Um, and he had a great game. Um, so I'm not. He was a great player, amazing jumper. He should have at least one NBA dunk contest win. He doesn't have one as of right now. But late in the game, Suns are down one. They get the steal. Denver Nuggets get the steal on the other end. They're going down the court. Jump. Aaron Gordon's going for a poster dunk. Landry Shamet goes for the charge, and they call a charge, which I think is the right call. They go to review it, which I'm all skeptical why. I thought they already used their challenge, but apparently, they already used their challenge. The rest wanted to see if it was in a restricted area. Um, yeah, hold on, I'm gonna get this. Look at that. So the restricted area is that black line that he's probably 3 feet away from. Helen Keller on her worst day could tell you that he was nowhere near the restricted area. I, I'm very confused because the letter of the law says that they shouldn't be reviewing unless it's a challenge or it's a possession. That's what you review for. You review for a challenge or if it's a iffy call and it's possession. That's what you review the call for. On a charge, you those are only challenge plays, and in the last 2 minutes of the game, you can see if he's in a restricted area. Nowhere near the restricted area. Like any anyone could tell you that that was nowhere near. Stevie Wonder knew that that was not near the restricted area at all. I mean, I, that this was just sad. There was another play. I didn't was able to get the video where Aaron Gordon bounced it off his foot. It rolled out of bounds. Tony Brothers was right there, and he said, "Play on." So I hate to say it. It sounds like I'm bitter. I am bitter, but Suns kind of got screwed by the refs. There's no other way to say it for this game. They shouldn't have been in that position. Um, but some takeaways from this game is that I was just wrong with the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets can hoop. They're a great team. I don't expect them to come out of the West, but they are an excellent team and they are deserving of that number one spot. Um, Phoenix Suns, on the other hand, listen, you're a good team too. You're decent, but without Devin Booker, you're not going nowhere. I think even the 2018 Suns, with Kelly Oubre, all those guys, they could beat this team. So for me, I think going forward, the Suns need to make a big trade. Um, trade for a closer, another scorer, because they were in that game even without Devin Booker, their best player. Um, so it doesn't matter. No matter what way you slice it, Suns at 4 against Denver Nuggets. So first win, congrats, congrats, you beat an injured Phoenix Suns team. But we swept you in the playoffs. You're not going to get out of the West. We didn't have our best player, so congrats on your Christmas Day win. Moving on though, on some other games that I saw that were really interesting. Philadelphia 76ers versus the New York Knicks. Two New York Knicks, a historic team. Philadelphia 76ers, a great team. This was a decent game. I didn't actually get to watch this game. I went to church early in the morning. So I got home. I saw maybe like the last 2 minutes of that game. But it was decent. I watched the highlights. I rewatched the game. Joel Embiid and Julius Randle both had 35 points. So they're two superstars of those teams. Are going head to head. Kind of had very similar impacts when it came to scoring the ball for their team. But the difference maker was the Harden. Harden was the difference maker. Harden's not washed, by the way. Harden is not MVP Harden. He's not Houston Harden, but he's definitely not washed by any means. He's still an amazing player. I think he had put up like 23 assists just a couple days ago. So, Harden is an excellent player, excellent ball handler, excellent passer. Not as much of a scorer as he has been, but still a decent scorer. So he was a difference maker. He took over the third quarter and early fourth. He had 29 points, 13 assists, and 4 steals. So he was definitely the difference maker that game. During that stretch, late fourth, late third, early fourth, he was hitting big shots. Three, three, three. Giving assists to his teammates. So he created that run that created the blowout for the 76ers. So James Harden is still a great, great player. Some takeaways from this game. Philadelphia is a championship contender. Harden is definitely not washed by any means. Joel Embiid is still dominant, and this is probably the best duo. Sorry, like the best complementary duo, not the best duo. That's probably Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum, but we'll get to them in a little bit. But this is probably the best complementary duo that is in the NBA. You have a great bruising center down low, and then you have Harden, Dish. That pick and roll is deadly. One of the best pick and rolls in the NBA right now. And talking about the New York Knicks, though, this New York Knicks is a great team. You know, very great team, kind of fun to watch. A lot of young guys. Kind of reminds me of the Brooklyn Nets when they had D'Lo and dancing on the sideline and all that, or the Valley Boy Suns. I like that team. That was probably one of my favorite teams these past couple years. So it's they're a decent team. They have talent. They probably are going to make the playoffs, but this East is just so competitive, so deep that they won't. Um, so they won't compete in the East at all. They're not going to come out of the East as a championship contender. Not beating Boston, not beating Milwaukee, not beating the 76ers. There's just plenty of teams that are above them that I would put above them where they won't get out of the East, but definitely a fun team to watch. Moving on though, another game against the Los Angeles Lakers, Dallas Mavericks. This game was somewhere in the afternoon. I saw it right after lunch. So you know, I don't like Luca, so I don't like the Dallas Mavericks. I don't like the Lakers because they're from Los Angeles. So this game, I don't really know who to cheer for. This was kind of kind of hard for me to watch. But always a great day when Los Angeles loses. You know, I'm waking up real early just to pray on their downfall. So thank you Dallas, for beating them. Having said that though, in the famous words of Lil Wayne, Luca, you a hoe. So moving on. Speaking of him, he scored 32 points. He led the team in scoring. Uh, he had some help this game. That's what was the difference maker for him. Uh, Wood scored 30 points. Hardaway scored 26. So this is just a much better Mavericks team than we've seen. Luca has some help finally on his team that where he's not the only guy. He took some bums and beat the Suns. Like he took the bums, took it to the Western Conference Finals last year. They shouldn't have been in that position. So now he finally has a team. I don't expect him to go super far anymore. I mean, the Denver Nuggets have just emerged as another team that are really good. John Morant apparently isn't scared of anybody out of the West except for the Golden State Warriors at home. Um, and there's plenty of teams in the West that I would put above the Dallas Mavericks. But it's definitely great to see Luca getting help and finally maybe be able to put on a run to the finals. I don't see it, but it's possible. Anything's possible. LeBron had 38 in this game. He carried the Lakers. They went on a little run. They kind of looked like they're about to win. But the Mavericks had a 51-point third quarter that sealed the deal for them. And then after that, it was kind of blowout. After that, I didn't really keep watching. So this is takeaways from this game. This is a much better Mavs team than we've seen. Definitely not coming out of the West. And on the Lakers side, they still suck. They won't make the playoffs this year. Even with Anthony Davis coming back, it's don't think it's going to be enough. I really don't think it's going to be enough. Um, they're going to need a massive trade, like I was talking about Zach LaVine coming to Los Angeles. They're going to need something massive in order to make that leap into the postseason. Boston and Milwaukee. this was a great game to watch. It was very competitive until like the second half. Two of the best teams in the East, Milwaukee, who won the championship a couple years ago, the Boston Celtics, who went to the finals last year. Both, I was very excited to watch this game. Boston is the best team in the NBA. Boston's my championship pick as of right now. I'm not really seeing any holes in their offense, defense. I'm not seeing any holes in that team at all. This is a greatly constructed team. A team where, if Jalen Brown doesn't go off, Jason Tatum goes off, and vice versa. Even Hal Horford has that capability. Marcus Smart, um, the reigning defensive player of the year. So this is just a great constructed team. They don't have Ime Udoka because he couldn't keep his hands to himself. But they had the other coach, and they came into the season with a vengeance, and I'm very excited to see what this Boston Celtics team can do. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're still a great team. Milwaukee's still a great team. But in order for them to get past the Boston Celtics, Giannis needs to be Superman. And also in this game, they didn't have Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton hasn't been back yet in for the Bucks. He hasn't. He had an injury very very early into the season, and hasn't been able to play for the Bucks very much. So yeah, the Bucks were missing Chris Middleton, a crucial piece to their success a couple seasons ago. But still, in order for them to beat or be competitive with the Boston Celtics, Chris Middleton needs to be Batman, and Giannis needs to be Superman in order for them to get past the Boston Celtics. This was the very interesting game until like the second half. Tatum had 41 points, Brown had 29, Giannis had 27. But then again, the Boston Celtics are the best team in the NBA and had a great game today. Now, the last game I'm going to talk about today is Memphis Grizzlies versus the Golden State Warriors. Before we get into this game, though, I actually, want to talk about John Morant's new shoe. Pull it up here. So the shoe on the left, that's going to be the shoe that's going to be open to the public, the Jaw ones. So they kind of look like I kind of think they're like knockoff Kobe's. Kind of look like Kevin Durant's a little bit. It's a decent shoe. I'm looking forward to Devin Booker's shoe when it comes out, but this is not a bad shoe. If you look on the shoe on the right, this is his debut, the season debut of his shoes. You look at the little writing. It says, "We ain't ducking no smoke." Well, he did, um, because you got blown out by the Warriors. After saying you're not scared of anybody in the West. So you had 36 points, John Morant. You played a great game, but that was just too little, too late. Jordan Poole had 32. He had two technicals of six technicals for the Golden State Warriors in that game. There's the epic, taunting play by Clay Thompson. You know, this is just a fun game to watch. It was a blowout, but these teams definitely don't like each other. Another rivalry that might be brewing in the West. You have Dallas, Phoenix. You have Phoenix, New Orleans. I mean, I think everybody just hates Phoenix at this point. But now it's people are starting to hate Memphis again. Which please, we don't want the title no more. You go hate on them. They do much worse stuff than we do. Um, but Jordan Poole at 32, Draymond Green had a Draymond Green stat line: 3 points, 13 boards, 13 assists. Dennis Rodman. He's gonna do the dirty work. He's not gonna be scoring the ball as much, but he's definitely gonna put up those stats. So takeaways from this game: Golden State is elite at home. At Oracle. Well, it's not Oracle Arena anymore. I don't think. I don't know what it is called anymore. But Golden State Warriors are elite in their home gym. Outside of it, though, they suck. And I don't know if they're going to be a contender in the West if they can't win on the road. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Jaw's Grizzlies are not fine in the West. So sorry, Jaw. There's teams that are still really good that still play in the West. And I don't expect you to just go past these teams and go play the Celtics. You're not even my pick to make it out of the West. I would probably pick Denver before I pick you. I would probably pick I might even pick the Warriors if they can figure this out because they have the talent. They're still a talented team, and they have some assets. They have some great young guys where they can go make a move, and they'll come out of the West just fine if they make a good move. So the Grizzlies are not definitely fine in the West. They definitely have some competition. But Golden State Warriors, they don't look like to be contenders at all right now. Um, they're out of the play-in right now as it stands. So they're kind of there with the Lakers, but they have more upside than the Lakers do. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But very exciting slate of Christmas Day games. Uh, so I was very excited to watch all those games. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, make a comment. If you have any suggestions, something you want me to talk about, say, hey, you didn't talk about my team. Well, maybe because your team didn't play on Christmas Day. But, if you want me to talk about your team a little bit more in depth, just put it down in the comments. Thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. I will see you in the next episode. Adios.